I have started and stopped using a number of protocols in the Algorand ecosystem since getting into this space, but Lofty has been one of the strongest ones that I've used. But is it still worth it in 2023? We're going to answer that question on today's Frugal VC. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Frugal VC. Today we are talking about Lofty AI. It has been a while since I've issued one of these updates, but the reason I want to do it is because it's been one of the projects that I've been most impressed with, that's been the most solid for me, but also they've done things that have frustrated me. And so I want to talk about all of those today. I want to show you how I've done, how much money I've made in rent, how it's what I think about it now versus when it first started. And I'm also going to talk about a new feature they have called Lofty Select. It's a pretty interesting feature, and that's going to be fun to talk about. And we're going to talk about some bugs on the platform as well. This is one of my experiments. It's one of my longest going experiments. It's one of the protocols that I've stuck with pretty much since the beginning, since I got my Algorand off of Coinbase and into a private wallet. So let's dive right into that. Before we do that, guys, if you wouldn't mind hitting that subscribe button, I'd really appreciate it. Subscribe because you want to see all our experiments, which Lofty AI is one of them. That's my whole goal here. I just began my newest experiment where I put $100 into 3 protocols and see how they do over the long run. I got some rules. You can check out my video on those rules and how it's going to work. And I'm going to do quarterly updates on the YouTube channel and full updates on NifGen. But enough about that. Let's get into the platform. First off, what is Lofty AI? Well, Lofty AI is a blockchain-based protocol where basically it's a collection of real properties in the real world. And what this company does is they buy these properties, they tokenize the ownership, and then you can buy these tokens and own a share of these properties. And one of the reasons I like this a lot is because there's an exit plan for if the company ever disappears, these things go into a trust. So you don't have to worry about the platform disappearing and your tokens being worthless. That's something I really, really like. Now, I don't know that this idea has been tested anywhere, so we always have to keep in mind that this stuff is always experimental. When we're dealing with crypto, a lot of this stuff is new and just simply hasn't been tested, especially in Algorand, because Algorand is like basically brand new when you're talking about crypto. I mean, it launched in 2019, so it's pretty new. So the advantages of this, and I've talked about this before, but some of the advantages of Lofty versus like traditional real estate is like each token is $50, and that's the minimum. So you can put $50 and own real estate that pays rental, these rental properties. You can own this real estate in small amounts, which makes the barrier to entry great. And you don't have to be the one to go fix the toilet when it breaks or put in a new water heater. But that means there's a management company doing that. And of course, that cuts into your profits. Anyone who's owned property knows that there's a trade-off, that if you're paying somebody to do this stuff, you're not going to bring in as much money as if you were doing it yourself. But there's the stress factor. But you have a little more control than you would with an REI. REIT, which is like a real estate portfolio that's more like an index fund. And that one, you don't really get to select the properties. So in this one, you can select the properties, and that maybe is good or bad. There's upsides and downsides. So that's what Lofty is. Now, let's talk about how I've done on the platform. I'm going to show you my screen. I got it pulled up, and we'll just look at the numbers. Okay, so this is the main screen that you see when you come onto the platform. You can see my account value is just over 2,000. And about 150 that, so to speak, is rental income. Now, that still doesn't mean that I put in 1,000, because we have a referral program, and there is a referral link down below if you guys are interested in trying Lofty. You can get a pretty good deal, actually, which is pretty cool. And so as long as you put some money into this, you will get a gift certificate for more rental properties, as will I, or you can just do it on your own, up to you. But I've earned $152 in total rent. Historic return, 6.79%. Now, this is really interesting. If you look at my property value, it's down to $2,039, down 0.62%. That's a big change from pretty much every other time I've stopped to take a look at this and done a video on it. It's kind of interesting. It looks like the market is finally starting to turn around in the Midwest. So here's the thing. Most of the properties are in the Midwest. Interestingly enough, none of them in Wisconsin, but there's like Michigan, Ohio, St. Louis, Chicago, Illinois, mostly Chicago from Illinois, Memphis. I've seen them from all over, but I think there's a couple in Miami, but for the most part, they've been in the Midwest. That seems to be where they see the best buying opportunity. Now, they do use artificial intelligence to determine where the best properties that they can buy will be. They work with local management companies to work on, to deal with these properties. And it's really interesting. So I've done pretty well. Now, I do want to point out a lot of this value came from the referral links. So if you refer someone, I get like a $25 gift certificate, and they do too. So you can get 25 bucks in properties. And a lot of times I just save those up, or a lot of times I use the rent plus the gift certificate to equal a property, and I buy a new one. That's all I've been doing this year. I think the real estate market is overpriced, and I think it's starting to come down, as you see from those token drops. My theory is once the properties start going down in value, each token will collectively earn more rent per token because they'll be paying less per dollar for the properties. But I don't really know that for sure. I'd have to know more about the inner workings. And most of my properties have gone up, some haven't. Now, before we go further, I want to talk about some of the bugs on the platform that have irritated me. I really, really liked the way the marketplace worked when they first launched it, and now I don't like. It's been really clunky when you go to buy properties, which is somewhat negated by using like gift certificates, because that just works a lot, or rent. That works a lot easier. They've added where you can now see new listings, but they're all mixed together. So some of these are anything that doesn't have new listing is a resale, and they come at different costs. So I usually try to buy from new listings. Now I've noticed these two new listings have pretty high COCs. Cash and COCs is the actual rent value. 10% is really high. So these are pretty good. These are pretty good deals, and then lower IRI than a lot of the other ones. Some of them, some not. And those two happen to be in Warren, Michigan. I'm going to click on one of the non ones. It used to just be one token, you buy it. I'm not going to go through the whole buying process because I don't want to buy one right now. Well, apparently this is one of the ones I have. Now when you go buy, they don't just have like a regular. First off, it's like 10, 25, 50. Listen, I'm buying like one or two at a time. I'm not buying thousands of dollars worth, okay? You can still add gift and add rent balance works pretty well. The wallet, my wallet has been screwed up on here for a while. Last time I bought one, somehow I got it on there, but it was after the fact that this happened. So if you want to just buy one or two, you actually have to go here and enter it in, and they start with 10. So I just find that kind of annoying. So I would really rather so you can buy with a credit card, and that's going to cost you, it's going to cost a lot. You can keep them right on the Lofty wallet, but if you really want them secure and you want them in your wallet, I recommend doing external wallet. But external wallet doesn't give you like a lot of good options. I just don't like the way this worked. It works better now than it did when they first started it, but I find it kind of irritating. And one thing they did is they didn't have the new listing, so it was hard to tell. You had to click on each one to tell what was new versus what is just, the resale. So that happened when they put the resale market up there. Oh, here's some good bugs. Okay, so all these properties, you see how it says click here to sign co-owner agreement? You have to do this with every property, but for a long time, they've had this bug where you sign it, and then every time you refresh your page, every time you come back to your account, you have to click on them again. Now, I mentioned this to the Lofty AI people back in December, November or December, somewhere around there, and they said they were working on it. It has not been fixed yet. That's still the issue. I will try to click on them between now and the next time I do a review, and I hope it is fixed, but that's pretty annoying. And one other issue, I'm going to stop my share for a second. One other issue I had is with the referral payments. Now, I consider this part of my YouTube income, is the reason I send people here is because overall I still like Lofty, so I guess I'm giving away kind of the end of the video a little bit. But I earned enough to earn the $50 gift certificate, and it's not automated apparently. So I was told, hey, you'll get this at the, oh, we send those out at the end of the month. We kind of do a count. Nothing tells you that, by the way, so I just thought it didn't work. I got the $25 credit, but I didn't get the $50 credit. And that's what they told me in the Discord. So then the end of the month came around and I gave it like, I don't know, 10 or 15 days and said, hey, I was told I would get this, I achieved this achievement. I was supposed to get an extra 50 in rental credit, or excuse me, in property credit, and I didn't get it. Ended up having to actually talk back and forth with the CEO of Lofty to actually get my credit, which is kind of annoying. So I'm closing in on the $100 one, and I hope I don't have to do that again. And by the way, this is open to everybody. This isn't just me. You can do this. If you have Lofty account, you can do this too. If you refer your friends and such to this platform, you can get some credit that you can put toward properties. It's pretty neat. So I just want to point that bug out because I was like, well, why wouldn't you have that automated? And they said there were plans to do that. We'll see if that happens once I reach the next level. The rewards are pretty good. That's a pretty good referral program. So I give them credit for that. It just has to actually work. But overall, I mean, I think as you saw from the numbers, I've done pretty well on it. It's been pretty solid. Right now, I've been as high as like 40 some cents and as low as 30. So it kind of changes. And then one other thing I want to talk about is I've noticed a lot of issues with the properties lately, like tenants not paying, or they do this thing where they offer money to the tenant to move out instead of going through the whole eviction process. Pretty smart, in my opinion. And then you get to vote on whether you do that or not. I've always voted, yeah, just offer them the money, why not? And then repairs and stuff. So you get all these emails, and I kind of it's kind of annoying, but also I can just ignore it. I don't have to pay attention to it. And that's a key thing, a key difference between owning actual rental properties versus owning here, is that you can ignore those. You don't have to care about them. In real life, you'd have to care about them or you won't have tenants. So something to think about. And let's talk about the feature that Lofty just announced. I think this is really interesting, and I'm going to pull it up on the screen. So just a second here. So this was, if you do want to own 100% of a property and co-invest with friends, you can do this. So this came out about a week ago. It's actually, I think it's closer to 2 weeks, but so it says Lofty helps you easily invest in real estate with over 440 properties in our marketplace, but we understand that sometimes there are opportunities you want for yourself and friends. With Lofty Select, you're in the driver's seat. You source the property of your dreams, and we make it easy. From legal docs to property management and easy cash out, we've got you covered. Our streamlined experience isn't second to none. So this is really interesting. It's kind of like a real estate made easy service, and I think this is a great idea. They handle the management, cash out. Now I'm really curious. I'd like to learn more about this. And they say pick any type of property in the US, whether it's an Airbnb, rent-to-own property, a parcel of land, a storage facility, apartment complex, your choice. So really a lot of different types of things you can buy. I think it's interesting you can buy a storage facility with this. So you can invest entirely by yourself or co-invest with 20 people. You can optionally get a mortgage for a leveraged investment. It's interesting. And close on the property without the busy work. Includes inspection, appraisal, house canary, agile evaluation, offer, ownership agreement, dedicated bank account setup, and own your property without the landlord headaches. So this is kind of cool because anyone who's bought a property, I own my own house. I don't own rental property. I thought about it, but I decided not to, just because of too many horror stories from my friends who have owned rental properties. But it's interesting that one of the things with owning rental property is you can have a management company, but usually they come in after you bought the property. In this case, they'll help you do all the legwork beforehand too. So I think that's really interesting. Now, I say all this with a caveat that I have obviously not tried this myself. I haven't seen anyone talk about trying this, and it's pretty new, so I don't know that a lot of people have yet. It's something I'm going to keep a track of because I'm really curious about how it will work for other people. They don't really talk about it, but assuredly you will earn less going through them than you would on your own, but they're going to take care of a lot of the headaches for you. So if you don't want to be a landlord, from what I've told when I've talked to other landlords, they say it's worth it if you the type of person who can fix a lot of problems yourself. You're fairly handy. I would call myself handy-ish. I've done a lot of the work on my own house, but it's not to the a level of like a contractor. So I don't know that I would be comfortable doing that kind of under the pressure. With my own house, I can take my time and work on it piece by piece. So probably a lot of the stuff I would hire out. And so it does make ownership easier, but you also will make less on your money. You might be better off just owning tokens on Lofty. So I guess to kind of wrap things up, is Lofty AI worth it in 2023? Yes, I do think it is. I personally am kind of waiting for property prices to fall a little more. I think the real estate market is still gonna take some more hits. It kind of depends where though. So what's happening in the Midwest, or there a lot of places, including where I live, there's inventory problems. So even though prices have come down a bit because there's such scarcity, because no one's selling their houses for whatever reason, there's still prices are still pretty high. So it's more like 5,000 over ask instead of 15,000 over ask. It's one of the things that's happening. So I'm kind of holding off. I'm buying if I end up getting, gift certificates from the referral program, or if I make enough in rent, I am buying more properties, but otherwise I'm not putting more into the system right now. That will change, and I think we saw some evidence that might be turning around a little bit, but overall I still think it's a good project. I hope they fix some of the bugs that they've let go for a while, including that click user agreement thing. It's possible, in all fairness, it could be fixed, and I just had to do it one more time, so we'll see. But that is it for this week. I hope you enjoyed this. Make sure to check out the links in the description. You can get a pretty good deal with Lofty if you go through my referral code down below. $25 once you invest a certain amount, and I will get that as well. Great way to support the channel. Plenty of other links in the description as well as merch like this hat if you're interested. And otherwise, stay safe out there, guys. Not your keys, not your crypto. Ledger is the absolute safest way to keep your crypto. And as always, I'm Frugal BC, and I'll see you in the future.